public is misled by politicians, by advertisers, by marketers, they're not going to be surprised that they are misled by the investment industry. What they will be surprised is the extent that they're misled by the way it affects their retirement, in most cases planning, and by the fact that nobody is there to back them up and help them when something goes wrong. That, I think, should be the core of the story here.
John Lawrence Reynolds is the author of many books. He writes true stories of investment industry behaviors. Some, such as Free Rider and The Naked Investor, are required reading.
You are out there on your own. You are being essentially brutalized or bullied by an industry that can shape all the rules and regulations according to its own interests over you. That, I think, is the core of the story, and that's what I would want people to recognize and act upon.
You can call yourself whatever you want.
Anything.
A wealth management professional, you can call yourself a professional, an agent, a representative, an advisor. You can use the phrase financial planning. You can say wealth. You can say security. You can use virtually any permutation.
No rules, no.
Well, with the caveat that it cannot misrepresent your licensing. So you can't say you're a securities investor or advisor if you don't have a securities license.
Actually, if you go to the website for your Securities Commission, you'll find that nearly every investment advisor in Canada is misleading their license category. They are licensed in the category of a salesperson. It's like letting me call myself a doctor because I've taken a 3-day first aid course.
I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone have after his name salesperson.
I guess the first thing that people ask me now that I'm out of the business is, how do you find an advisor you can trust? How do you find someone to deal with to look after your money? And that leads me to one of my pet peeves is the industry staffed with professional investment advisors, or are they salespeople? And that was one of the first questions I raised when I got into a few years into the business, and they took away our business cards in 1987 that said stockbroker on them, and they gave us new cards that said investment advisor. The crash of 1987 made the word stocks a dirty word, and so they had to take the word stock out of our business spin, our marketing plan, and they said we were investment advisors. Investment advisors implies a duty of care, a duty of trust, offering a trust to the clients, delivery of trust, that kind of thing, and some of us tried to live up to that, and there are really good investment advisors out there trying to live up to that, but I'm going to maintain that about 80% of them are still in the sales category. And so let's look at whether you're dealing with an advisor or a salesperson. That's your very first clue as to whether you should be trusting that person or whether you should be in a buyer beware relationship. You can't represent yourself falsely. A person cannot mislead their title or what they do. I can't call myself a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer without having the proper qualifications.
It's painting a picture of somebody that is not true. Right. It is deception. The consumer thinks they're dealing with somebody high up in an organization.
Right.
And all they're dealing is a low-life salesperson.
As part of our regulatory regime, once you hold yourself out as an advisor, just based in common law, based in notions of agency and fiduciary duties and such, once you hold yourself out in a certain way, you are required to behave that way.
A broker's suitability obligation, my obligation to sell you investments that are suitable for you, that suitability obligation includes the requirement to minimize your sales commission and not maximize them.
Personal Financial Planners Program, it's called the PFP. We used to use Personal Financial Review, and some of our more less optimistic sales reps used to refer to it as a shopping list. You get all the information, and then you can figure out how you're going to wrap up the client's assets and make yourself your commissions and all the rest of it. And that hasn't changed to this day.
There's far too many people there who think that their broker or their investment advisor is actually capable of managing their money and has their best interests at heart. And while obviously a good number do, the actual overall level of quality is very poor.
They're paid to give advice. Promising advice. And it's supposed to be independent, objective advice for their benefit, to help their retirement, not the dispenser of the advisor's retirement.
Weasel language sort of thing. It's not a true technicality. It's certainly not the way we advisors are taught when we do our licensing exams. We are certainly led to believe that we have a duty of care to our advisor, to our clients, and we are led to believe that our fiduciary obligations mean that there's a trust relationship there.
What does a person have to go through the time period before you can become licensed to sell mutual funds in this world, this country?
Days, weeks, months, years? Yeah, I can't even recall. It might be something like 30 days in mutual funds. It's 90 days in securities.
As a member of the public, do you know whether you're dealing with a commissioned salesperson or a professional advisor?
How would I know? No, I don't.
Okay, how would you know? Good.
Well, if you ask them, you may not get an honest answer, so I don't see that with no.
I feel the public is being deceived by the industry, and the regulators are complicit with that, knowingly or unknowingly.